Good morning. Another list review. This list review is of a list sent to me by Greg, who's going to the All Quiet on the Berkshire Front event, which is using the Jugger Pack, if you guys know what that is. The Jugger Pack is a selection of house rules that the juggernauts of the Juggernaut Action Bolt Action podcast. My tongue. The Juggernaut Bolt Action podcast have made, and they have a lot of interesting little tweaks that make some things in the game way more usable. For this event, you can mix platoons, so you can mix a theater platoon with a generic reinforced. You can have two platoons of either kind. So, an interesting event that sort of allows for very good competitive mixes in my eyes. So let's go and see what Greg is bringing. Right, here we have it. 1000 points, 15 order dice. Good. It's a good place to be at, the 15 order dice, isn't it? It's a British Reinforced Platoon, 1000 points. British Paras is the focus. So Greg himself writes that this is supposed to be competitive, but not completely cheesy. I can see that. Okay. We're running the second lieutenant as a regular. I think if you're going to run him as a regular, which you can do, but I think he needs extra help then, because for those extra points that you're paying 15 extra points compared to an inexperienced lieutenant. He's not that much more survivable. So I think making him into an extra infantry unit is more beneficial most of the time. Then we have the paratroops. We have 2 skirmish sections of 7 veteran riflemen. Really good, very strong, stubborn. They're very survivable. And 7 men is actually not a bad place to be. You could go as low as 6, but 7 means that you cannot get wiped out by a single flamethrower hit. So that's definitely a good place to be at. It also means that the enemy will have to kill 4 of your dudes in order to kill 50% in one go, which is pretty unlikely to start with, right? Then we have the free observer. We have more paratroop sections, 2 more skirmish sections, and 1 section with submachine guns. A 5-man section with 5 submachine guns. This is a push unit, but it is very small, so I'm guessing that it will go in a Bren carrier. Vengeance is the national rule. This is the rule to go with. If you're going to go skirmish Brits, then Vengeance is really, really strong. With this amount of riflemen, you could have been tempted to use the what's it called, rifle drill one, where you get extra shots, but Vengeance is just useful for all units and not just for the rifle armed ones, right? We have an inexperienced medium mortar, very strong, very good competitive choice as well. We have a veteran flamethrower that doesn't really need to be veteran if you have the transport for it. But it does make it a little bit more survivable, which I guess is always nice to have. We have a peer team regular. We have a land mattress inexperienced. The land mattress is really good in this one because what it does is it forces your opponent to try and spread out a bit. Otherwise, you're going to hit him. What I usually see is people bringing an artillery piece with a 25-pounder AT shell because it's just very useful, but the land mattress is also very, very useful. Then we have a British Airborne Recce Jeep, very thematic, yes, also extremely competitive. 45 points, 10 shots, Recce, yeah, that is very, very strong, very strong. Then we have, here comes the Bren carrier that I talked about before. That will take the 5-man para units with SMGs. It has double LMGs itself, so it's sort of a mini tank. And we have a jeep for, I am guessing, a lieutenant, and a flamethrower or a pier, depending on what the enemy brings, because it can take 3-man transport, and a small team is 2-man. So you stick out in the lieutenant. The lieutenant then gives his command, his morale bonus to the jeep, which is all very veteran, which means that when you're bringing it on from outflank, you're at 10 to bring it on from the outflank. That is pretty likely. So it's a good flanking little mini combination of units that we have here, bringing in that flamethrower, killing something from the outflank. Lovely. I don't use outflank myself all that much, but it is pretty good. And then the Darker Steward. We all know it and love it. Has the hull-mounted LMGs, and it also sports a pintle-mounted MMG, bringing it up to 145 points. So this is a infantry killer. It has so many shots that it really deletes infantry units. Very strong. One thing I will say, since you're allowed to take double platoons, I think you will find that most of the platoons in the top 10 at that event will be double platoons. And since you're allowed theatre platoons also, I think you will see some theatre platoons being used that are extremely strong. So I think you'll also see a lot of theatre platoons in that top. This is definitely not a bad platoon. It's a really good platoon. At 1,000 points, yes, this is a really good platoon. But I think you're going to see stronger ones. So maybe that was even what you wanted. Greg did write to me, right, that he wanted to be good, strong, competitive, but not uber cheesy. And that is what we have here. So Greg, thank you so much, and good luck at All Quiet on the Berkshire Front. Cheers.